but it is very, very different, that live action on stage, in person, in the moment. You only get one take. You're feeding off of that energy and that atmosphere on stage versus, when you're on camera, it's a little bit different. It's different takes. You're out of order. You have to set things up, and sometimes that takes a while. So, what is your experience between theater and film? What are pros and cons, or likes and dislikes? Tell me a little bit about your experiences in both of those arenas.
Well, I mean, the thing that you were talking about, the camaraderie that you get in a play, definitely one of the things that I loved about theater. I mean, some of the best friends that I've got are people that I have worked with in time after time with plays, and those memories that you build up, and those experiences that you share, and those inside jokes, all that stuff. That is a big part of the reason that I like theater as much as I do. But also, I love that when you do a play, it's unique. That performance will never be duplicated. And that audience will never be the same. Every audience is different. Every audience brings some kind of energy to the play. And when it's at its best, when things are really rocking and rolling, you feel each other back and forth. You feel the audience, they feel you. It's that subconscious explosion of energy that's going on between an audience and the actors that are on the stage. It just can't happen that way in film. It's just impossible. There's a lot of things that are going on in your brain when you're shooting film that make it tougher to do that. I mean, you have crew around and stuff like that, and they will, but they're not going to respond to you. They're not going to be able to give anything back to you, even afterwards. If the director says, "Oh, that's a good take," that's not that same moment, and that's the thing that I miss the most. Now, turning this thing around a little bit, what happens for me with the acting on camera is you really have to focus on the actor that you're working with, even more than you do if you're worried about the audience that's out there, because the dynamic, if you're doing a scene on stage, the dynamic is between actors and the audience. There's a triangle going on there.
Yeah.
But with film, the audience is out there. It's represented by the camera, but you don't want to think about the camera. The camera can't be part of the process. That's the camera person's job. That's the director's job. Let them worry about that. Your job is just to have this moment, either in a soliloquy or whatever it is. But even in those moments, if you're not actually directing action to another actor, your brain has to be so engaged and involved in that moment that you can't be conscious of it. You can't be conscious of it, at least, and it's again at its best. I'm not going to say that every time I do something that's what happens,
right?
But that's what I'm shooting for, And when that happens, that's also very exciting. That's also very because you get to the end of it and you go, "That was real." That what just happened right then was as real as acting gets, because it is just these two people doing this thing, and that third part of the triangle is not really your concern. Your concern is just the back and forth, and that is a different experience, but it's also rewarding. It's also it's engaging for the actor.
It's more intimate. It's a more intimate experience than being on the stage. Yeah. I also love the difference in, on stage is so much more, it's broader, it's bigger. It's just such a bigger experience. Whereas in film or television, you can get right up into every crease and line and muscle, movement in the face. The audience can have such a very personal and intimate experience with each character and their emotions and what they're going through and body language and all the little quirks and things that make up that character. And not that you don't get some of that on stage, but it's
Oh,
just
sure.
a very, large experience, and it's just more intimate on camera.
Yeah, I know you've had my buddy Pat Cronin on here. Uh,
Yes, love
and
Pat.
I do
Yeah.
too. Pat's one of my best friends, and we've been friends for 25 years now. But we talked one time a long time ago when we were talking about the difference between stage acting and film acting. And he may have said this on the show. I can't remember if he said it when he was on here, but he said the stage is a cold medium, and it's up to the actor to provide
Mm.
the heat. And so that's where that idea of it being bigger or larger or more, involved in trying to reach out a little bit. That's the heat. But he said film and TV is a hot medium. The heat is there. It's up to the actor to bring the cool, and not because
Wow. Yeah.
if the actor adds that same heat that he would use on stage, it's going to be way too hot. So that's always stuck with me, that analogy